Here we go on Twitch. I am going to throw us onto Moonbeam as well. Okay, so testing. Everybody get comfortable. Everybody get ready. Okay, so who do we not have? I see Dave. You are not signed into Forge Foundry yet, and yes, Mark. Were you going to say something? Nope. If you're saying something, Mark, I'm getting nothing but bit.
It's just a quick one.
Yep.
I'm going to clear out. You mean? Ah, crap.
Are you okay?
Things seem to be going very wrong over there. One sec, redo mic. Okay, fine. Whilst we are waiting for Mark to get onto whatever thing he has, I would just like to point out, like I pointed out to Dave and Liz moments ago, it's in there in Discord. Oh, testing. Yep, can hear you. Hello, Mark.
Only a
there we
slight
go.
delay. Cool. It can wait till after.
It can wait till after. Okay, remember it. Note it down somewhere because we got 3 hours to get through. So just so you don't forget. But yes, I finally got round to putting the technical manual inside of the Dropbox folder. If you fancy having a look just to see what track tech they've written about, then do feel free to. I was rather amused to find 1 or 2 pieces of tech that this crew either has worked on as a science project or is working on as a science project, now included inside of the technical manual. So,
we're ahead of the game?
You are ahead of the game. So, for those of you who want to have a look as to what kind of things are new, inside of under 2nd edition folder on items, under character talents and starship talents, I have indicated which ones are new by starting their name with an asterisk. So you can see which ones there are. There are at least 2 also for augment and cybernetics, as well as 1 or 2 for command, 2 for engineer. There's 3 for like engineering. There's a couple of new starship talents as well. Have a look if you fancy. Some of them may make you giggle. And whilst you are having a look, I shall divert folks over briefly to our intro video, and we will see you again in a few moments, folks. Be back soon. Don't go away. Hello folks, and welcome along to the continuing adventures of the USS Combs. I am MJ the GM, and I will be your Games Master for the next couple of hours, and with me are the crew of the USS Combs. Say hello, folks. We are back, and we are back in a big way, because this episode marks the end of, technically, Season 2 of USS Combs. Final episode of Season 2. Actually, pardon me, are we the second season? Let me just make sure. Roll back. We are indeed, yes, the end of Season 2. We've endured a whole season of the Klingon Federation War, and we've now come out the other side. So, this group of brilliant explorers are now heading back to their home away from home, which they've been away from for over a year in-game. in-game time. Back to Narendra Station, back to Starbase 364, in order to do what Starfleet does best, and that is explore unknown space. Off to the galactic east, where we're going back to exploring the Shackleton Expanse, finally. So, yay! More than a couple of little shake-ups, but before we get onto that, I want to very special redirection and plug for a certain member of the crew whose new video is up. Chris!
They said it couldn't be done, and by they I mean me. But yeah, hello, thank you. Finally, my first video of, again, in the spirit of, starting Season 3s. This is the intro to Season 3 of Having a Mosey. My review for Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney is finally out, in which I try a bold strategy of not actually talking about the game until like 10-15 minutes in. But yeah, this time around now I'm going to try and get them out a bit faster. I'm already working on Dragon Quest 3. But yeah, please go check that out. It turns out not releasing a video for 10 months and then doing so at midnight really kills the algorithm. So yeah, pretty please, go check.
And if anything else we take away from this is kill the algorithm.
Amen.
Moving on. In the spirit of this momentous occasion of having Chris's video on Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney come up, I will also direct people's attention to Humble Bundle, who are now doing a Duo of Justice, bundle, where you get Ace Attorney games and Mega Man games. Now, mostly they are Mega Man, but you still get the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, and as well as the Ace Attorney Trilogy, which was mentioned in Chris's video. They also are nice enough to give you coupons for Ace Attorney Trilogy and Ace Attorney Investigations Collection. Well, pardon me, Apollo Justice. So there we go, pardon me.
The strongest, they're all good, but the strongest games all are actually in that bundle, at least. I would say.
Here we go. Duo of Justice. This is on for another... how long have they got? 16 days, 11 hours, 52 minutes. So if you fancy getting a load of Mega Man and Ace Attorney for not as much money as it would cost and supporting charity, here you go. They did it all in honour of Chris, obviously. Because they heard, and they were like, "What?" And if not,
high places.
Why not? Friends? Well, exactly. You've got me, for instance.
God damn it, I can't take one of the engineering ones.
Sorry.
And
on a separate note, yes, we've started integrating the technical manual rulebook, which came out for Star Trek Adventures not long ago. Modiphius do have another one coming out about space exploration. I'm a little less big uppy downy jumpy about that because we already have a lot of stuff that helps us with exploration stuff, but you never know, there might be some interesting extra ship talents or people talents, as well as character creation paths that might be interesting. But for now, yes.
Can I just say, they really have been watching our
yes, I detected a very strong theme.
I was going to say, there's a in engineering talents, there's demolitionist, and at the end it says whenever you make an attack with a weapon with the grenade weapon quality, it gains an accurate quality. I'm like,
yeah,
no.
They've been watching, and they've been taking notes. So, guys,
oh yeah, there's another.
Go on.
The fix 'em and fly 'em is funny. They saw that I failed to pilot. Like,
well,
you may reroll 1d20 on an engineering task performed to repair or any ship or small craft. Yeah. That you have piloted. Yeah, they want me to be able to make Frankie shuttle. A lot.
They really do. They've even input rules for it as well now. So yeah. What can you say, guys? You're trendsetters. So there you go. Keep watching here for potential new releases from Modiphius as they jot notes from the exploits of the Combs. Speaking of exploits of the Combs, we have a bit of a crew reshake-up Percussive maintenance attachment. Yes, I thought you'd noticed that. Yeah, so new members leave, old members come back. So I believe we left it so that the Combs regains their former first officer. Traza, daughter of Katala, comes back after spending a year with her Klingon brethren to get technically reinstated as part of a exchange program with the Klingons, so that the Combs has Traza once again as the first officer. And the really important part of that is, as we can see here on the landing screen, you guys get the IKS Guicha as a launch vehicle from your shuttle bays again. So, welcome back, the Guicha. Was that Dave?
I said, who wants that?
Well.
Yeah, I'll start it.
Somebody else's
just a
butt
more
print might be in
advanced
the chairs, though. What was that? Sorry, Mark?
Oh, it's just a more advanced shuttle, really.
Yes, it has more
Angrier
pew.
shuttle.
It has
That
more
is
pew.
true. Can we colour it red?
Well, I suppose, if you really want to.
No, I have to ask a question.
Because that make it go faster.
I'm about to say, does it have to do with Warhammer orcs and them believing colors have magical properties?
Yep.
Yep.
And that, ladies and
There you go.
gentlemen who are watching, is our first cross-franchise reference for the day.
Expect
We're just
many
gonna
more.
subject it to the red shit phenomenon.
Well, yeah. Is it now the gold shirt phenomenon? But
Ooh.
in one of the last Strange New Worlds I watched, they may have actually killed a blue shirt. So they're just messing with the entire continuity now. So who knows? Everything's up in the air. Anyone could die next.
Oh no.
They're killing white shirts, blue shirts. They're just being indiscriminate. Anyway. Oh, and in case you didn't get the hint, the new series of Strange New Worlds is out. Go watch it. If you can.
Nice plug.
So, with those small changes to the crew, this means that Lieutenant Commander Lian Zhang has resumed her post as Chief Helm Officer. Our previous Chief Helm Officer, Lieutenant Junior Grade Bonnet, has been exchanged to another crew, the IKS Dokabach. So she now gets to pilot a Klingon battle cruiser, whereas before,
on their souls.
well, exactly.
Also, the Leon J may be cursing Bonnet out.
Well, there may be some time taken to reconfigure the helm controls, yes. But
Yeah, that was going to be
Before.
my question. Isn't that going to be a problem?
well, so long as it doesn't, we'd have no checks needed to pilot the craft anytime soon, you should be okay. Should be. In the meantime, I would like to distract your attention for a little bit, because this means we actually do have time for some science before we crack on with the episode proper. So I'm going to take us to deck 1. Onto the bridge.
I am
Yes.
going to use an adjustment to replace one talent with a different talent.
On whom?
Bonnet. She's
Bonnet.
gonna get rid of Pathfinder and get Hot Rad Shuttle.
Oh, what have I done? Okay.
She may be pimping out some of the Klingon shuttles on the Dokabach now.
That's the point. I put her in the Dokabach cruise folder. That's why she's not where I expect her to be. Legion of Honor twice, just to make sure. Hot Rod Shuttle. Okay, so if you can just make a note in your character notes or your log or some such that you have used an adjustment to replace one for another. And we can get on to what you actually... We're going to need to bring up Franken Shuttle, aren't we?
I can get rid of that now. I mean,
That's a good question. Before we get onto that, I am going to ask a quick question about that, though, Liz, is that before I think we did that horrible, I say horrible, that very, very rude alteration to a Type 6 shuttle because you needed the room to transport more people. So are we going with the Type 6 shuttle, that's the personnel transporter, or are we going for the somewhat sleeker Type 9 shuttle, which is the mostly two-person but very, very sleek shuttle that we tended to see in Voyager?
Let's see, you have customized one of the ship's smaller crafts as a personal project. You have a number of points equal to your con score, which is currently 4.
This could be an abomination, folks.
Which you may spend to improve the shuttlecraft. Each point spent adds 1 of its system to a department. Additionally, select 1 starship talent of your choice for use on the small craft.
So bearing in mind, this will be a Starfleet, essentially in a weird exchange once again, where we've now got a Klingon small vessel on board of a Starfleet ship with the combs. It now looks like the Dokabach is going to be getting it's going to be getting Franken Shuttle.
And it's a Klingon ship, so if it hasn't got cloaking, it's not in breach of the treaty with the Romulans if you were to put cloaking on it.
Well,
I can't remember if it's got cloaked or not.
well,
It does
the
now.
Dokabach does not. Sorry, pardon me, the Guicha does not. But you certainly have that option now when you start tinkering with what you want. So again, essentially what I'm asking you, Liz, is am I making a copy of Shutty the Shuttle, or am I making a copy of the Type 9 shuttlecraft for you to alter?
The Type 9.
The Type 9, okay, so I'll make a duplicate of that. I will give you ownership over that, so you can have a tinker. Are we still going to call it Franken Shuttle, or are we going to call it something else? In fact, I'll let you decide that. It's your project. You go ahead and just go nuts. In the meantime,
She's tinkering with it. The additional talent's gonna be cloaking device on that Type 9 shuttle.
I thought I saw you sneak that in.
Oh,
There we go.
I thought that was going on the Guicha. That's slightly more problematic, but oh well, never mind.
Somebody else would have to take the same feat in order to alter the Guicha, because the Guicha comes as it was, which is essentially a shuttle. It's a pretty simple matter as to why this Klingon attack shuttle does not have a cloaking device, insofar as, you know, you're on a Klingon battleship. The battleship itself is the thing with the cloaking device, and that's the thing that does the big old kaboom, whereas the shuttle is just something from getting you from A to B, but because it's a Klingon one, it has to have weapons. But, you know, whatever. Oh, Liz, what was the name of the of Traz's pet targ again?
Tiny.
Tiny. I called it Blondie.
Yep, it's tiny because it's the tiny targ.
A tiny targ. Tiny the tiny targ. Let me change his name. Tiny the tiny targ. So we take that one away and replace it with the one I've just created, which is just a targ by any other name. And his name is Tiny. You know what they say? Small targ, big attitude. Okay. On to science. On to science. What science projects were we working on? Well, quite obviously, we had Phlesk's creation of the AI repair droids for the handling of repairs to the ship. We also have Tavish, our chief engineer's attempt to create a better displacement activated spore hub drive than the one that was created previous. And we also had Gerkow working on a pheromonal scanner, which essentially is looking to give Gerkow the ability to track her targets by scent. So who wants to work on what first? If no one's coming forward, then...
Oh, no, don't forget Traz is going to try to teach Tiny how to attack.
That's fine.
Attack hard.
That's fine, that's fine, that's fine. And I'm assuming you're going to approach it the same way you handled teaching Zippy, the Muragar, so yeah, that's fine. So who wants to do what first? Going once. Going twice. Then I will go for Phlesc.
Oh, never mind.
You're at the top of the list, so I will go in the order I've got them.
Cool. So...
The shuttle is done. Thank you for the message. So, you are currently looking at emergency repairs as the avenue of investigation for creating these little AI-controlled repair droids, bringing back the old DOT system. You were very, very close to coming to the end of this current avenue of investigation, of creation, so...
Cool. Yep, I'm gonna bring in Zonvogel, as he has good engineering skill.
Okay, Chief of Transporters Zonvogel himself. The man whose name is so awesome, you should win this just by dint of having Zonvogel on the team. So since Mark suggested Connie be the first one to do her project, I'm going to suggest Connie be Zonvogel.
Gladly.
So Zonvogel is going to be rolling 1 dice, but we'll be using... What are we using here? Reason and... Ooh, repair droids. This sounds like engineering to me. 2 dice, of course, for Mr. Phlesc.
Using a focus as well. Focus in replicators.
Focus on replicators, even though at the moment you're doing emergency repairs.
Doing repairs, but experimental technology could also work. Manufacturing,
speaking, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Either of those are good.
Not amazing.
1 success and no success. That was Ravalon. So try this one, Connie.
Oh, sorry.
Zonvogor's so awesome, he blinds people. You cannot see him. So it's not Connie's fault she couldn't see past his aura of awesome.
It's just he looks so unassuming.
No hint of the awesome beneath.
Ravalon has. There we are.
That's better. So close. So very close. So very, very close. You're nearly there. The tests have all been run, the simulations are all complete, now it's the actual physical creation of these things, and you should be there. Is it the right way? Well, we only discover that when you finally finish this project, but it looks really good. Nearly there, very, very close to finishing. Cool.
Nice.
Next up, training a Targ.
Oh, yes. Also, what is the status on our house becoming a great house?
So far, no news on that. Did I hear somebody else speak of them? Was that you, Chris?
No, it wasn't me.
It wasn't you? So who did I just hear pipe up, or was it just a sound blip?
Probably.
Might have been a sound blip. Okay. Someone in the background. Okay, no problem. Alright then, so, yeah, is Traza calling on anyone to help with training Tiny? Because it looks like we're going to be using Insight and... It's a targ. Insight and security. Just Traza, or is somebody else going to help?
Let's see. You know, I should probably ask ACOS.
ACOS? Okay. Security Ensign ACOS is a bit surprised to be asked, but nonetheless is happy to help, because, you know, he's got 3 arms and 3 legs, so how could he not be helpful? He could literally wag a hunk of meat and say, do you want it, boy? Do you want it? And pass it behind to his other hand and throw it. It'd be awesome. Alright, what did I say? Insight and security. So if I can have Chris be Ensign ACOS.
Sure thing.
I want 1 dice. It's going to be insight and security off of ACOS. I don't think he has any targ training foci, so we're going to go on talent alone. Same goes for Traza. Well, ACOS knows a bit more about animal handling than we thought. 3. Okay. Taking to the training well, it seems. Very good. So, the thing about this particular breed of albino, pygmy albino targ, is that legend has it they were supposed to be very, very loyal once they become accustomed to their master or mistress or whatever you want to say. So, yes, Tiny taking to the training. That was a lot of alliteration in a very short space of time. Very, very well. Not fully complete, but should make for a trained attack targ in no time at all. Again, alliteration. Right then, now we jump on to the displacement-activated Spore Hub drive. You had just finished Stage 1, Chief Engineer Tavish. You had created the mycelial reaction cube. Now you are going to look at creating subspace field spinners.
Okay.
So, as with any science attempt, it's going to be a dealio with essentially identifying the avenues of investigation you want to go down and then choosing the one you want to pursue at that specific time. So, you're essentially trying to create the technology whereupon the subspace field of a ship that's going to enter the mycelial realm has to be spinning, creating kind of spinning energy to the subspace field. So, I mean, the whole team can pipe up if they can think of any interesting avenues of investigation. Doesn't have to be just Dave on his own coming up with this. What you think? Avenues of investigation.
So
Obviously.
Specialist
But go on.
botany.
Specialist botany. Well, that might
Botanist.
come later. So, but go on, Connie.
Has her own project,
Yes, she does.
so she's going to be selfish.
So, yeah.
Are there any dancers?
Are there any dancers? Good question. I don't think I ever remember. Is anyone good at moves?
Phlesc thinks he is.
Didn't we establish that Phlesc, even though he spends most of his time in an EV suit because he hates the prospect of germs, that he is in fact ripped?
Yeah. Because it's a heavy suit.
Well, that would explain a lot. Okay, if we want some quick ideas as to what avenues we could use to look at subspace field spinners, well, the first thing that springs to my mind is subspace fields. Or subspace theory, anything to do with subspace.
Yeah, that would make sense. I was just trying to think, and I was like, I cannot think of anything.
Usually anything to do with subspace and that kind of stuff also involves warp engines, because you need warp to create the warpage of reality to breach another subspace realm. So that sounds like warp field theory.
Okay.
So that's 2 right there. Anyone think of anything else? A good way of looking at it would be to try and find avenues of investigation that use your character's focuses. So if anyone has any characters or looks at any of the supporting characters where you think that they might have some useful foci that could contribute to the creation of subspace field spinners, then have a good old look, see if anything sparks inspiration.
I think you can take either of the science lieutenant, well, one lieutenant, one ensign. Because if we're being creative, they have stellar phenomena,
Ooh.
plus the assistant talent.
Yeah. Stellar phenomena. Okay. What do people think? Stellar phenomena?
Sounds good.
I'm hearing no objections. Let's go with that, because you never know. Studying the motion of the stars and the funny things they come up with.
I was just going a bit on a tangent with Dr. Sott's psychiatry, because thinking of the incomprehensible might make them a bit bonkers.
So they're going to need a special type of therapy to get over the brain-melting science they're going to be engaged in. Okay, I see where you're going. It's not bad, actually.
Hold on.
Holding on.
I'm sorry, I'm just going to derail this conversation for like 2 seconds. Who the hell put down living on the edge as a pastime for Tavish?
That wasn't me. That was not me.
Liz?
Not me.
It took you long enough.
I think I recognised the typing.
How long has that been there for?
Well, that's the question, really, isn't it?
I was looking through stuff to see if I could use anything, and I just saw that. I'm sorry.
See, guys, this is what I have to put up with, and I wouldn't see it done any other
like
way.
Halfway through the last session.
My coffee now to keep me sane, rather than tea Earl Grey hot. Okay, so far we have as ideas for looking into subspace field spinners, subspace fields, warp field theory, stellar phenomena. 3 is the minimum number of avenues of investigation using the scientific method found in the first edition core rulebook. You can leave it at that, or we can try and think of at least 2 more. One or 2 more, if you can.
I can't think of anything. I was going to suggest grav ball, but I don't think that's
Grav
anything
ball?
to do.
I mean, I suppose maybe you could suggest botany. I just won't. That would be one of the latter.
Yeah, interdimensional botany.
Yeah. Botany in a strange extension of itself. So, could be, because you're essentially looking at the way a form of stellar plant life interacts with the universe.
And it's very much on brand for Tavish to create an entirely new type of science.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm happy to put botany down as an avenue of investigation, since it's such a specific type of botany.
Have we also got navigation down?
No, we don't, actually. I can put it down if you want.
That's actually quite important. We're jumping. Where? Don't know.
Well, that's it. At this...
Yeah.
Go on, sorry.
Can we stop putting more work onto Tavish, okay?
Right, so
I
So
mean,
busy.
you're an engineer. You're used to this.
in regards to the subspace field spinners themselves, the whole stellar botany thing still kind of applies. As far as navigation goes, this specific subsystem of the Spore Hub drive that is being looked at is just the subspace field spinners. Navigation is actually at step 4.
I can't. Yeah, is this the third one or was
This is the second step.
I thought.
Okay, so step 1 was the reaction cube, because you need that physical interaction between the mycelial realm and this material reality. Step 2 was the subspace field spinners, because if you don't have those, then you bounce off the mycelial realm's hover. Then you need the kinetic cavitation compensator, because the energy of the field spinners creates so much energy that it needs to be bled off safely. Then there's 5, which there's step 4, which is the dark matter coherent resonator needed for navigation of the mycelial realm. And then finally, at step 5, is the actual navigational method itself, which you were potentially looking at loading Nylil into her own computer system linked to the navigational array.
Actually, I have a plan for that.
Everybody should be very scared.
Though I will talk to you alone about that. I mean, not just from stream, but from the other players too.
It's going to
Why
be
am I
a
suddenly
surprise.
scared?
I would be.
I wouldn't. It's fine, everybody.
Oh my god.
So, well, that's the kind of response we want, really, isn't it?
What could go wrong?
That's the other question you don't want to hear.
A lot could go wrong.
Have I, as a player, ever, you know, done
We do, actually.
anything, done anything to, you know, like, you know, crazy or, you know.
No, you're like me, mate. You're deadly
Turn-
serious all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Turning your phaser into a grenade.
Professional operation, this. I don't know where the...
Yeah, I don't know where it comes from, Chris, either. I don't.
Aspersions are being cast. Yes, never mind. Okay, so we've got 4 ideas.
So, let's
Subspace fields,
go
warp field
with-
theory, stellar phenomena, botany. Anyone you'd like to start off with?
Let's go with the stellar phenomenon. Let's get
Okay, let's get the science guys in on this.
Yeah, let's get the science guys away in on this, and then I can do the engineering stuff on a later date.
Cool. Which means that Tavish is essentially putting in a request to the science department to borrow some of Gerkow's finest.
Gerkow, let me borrow some of your science peeps. That is probably the big. That's probably the biggest sigh I've ever heard ever.
Phoenix right, Ace at
Take it away.
pumping.
Ooh, I'm getting some feedback.
I am hearing Chris essentially watching his own video of himself.
Forgive me, sorry, I was just double checking something.
Hey, you know, I highly recommend watching it again. So,
Alright, I'm not too fussed. I can have either one. They're both really good.
who'd you fancy giving up then, Gerkow? Aversion or Dufresne?
I'll give him the Ensign.
Give him Aversion. Okay. But, I was going to say you can handle that one, but Liz hasn't rolled yet, so we'll hand Aversion over to Liz. So, Liz, you are doing... This is going to be Reason and... Probably looking at Science for the moment for stellar phenomena. Tavish, I don't seem to remember Tavish having anything to do with stellar phenomena.
No. Nope, this is just a straight roll for me.
Which, ironically, he does have a focus in stellar phenomena.
That's why we chose him.
Yep.
So you get to roll with a focus, whereas Tavish does not roll with a focus, and we'll see how we do. Not bad for reversion at all. Trained by the best. Ooh, those are some really good rolls. That's 3. Okay. So you proceeded through the theory phase of that ridiculously quickly, utilizing known and existing stellar phenomena that you have encountered previously, including, and not limited to, that huge mycelial construct that ruptured its way through different layers of subspace that you went on a little exploration of not long ago. So you do have recorded instances of these kind of events. So this is cool. Whether or not you can use that as a means of creating subspace field spinners on the combs using just the data you got from there remains to be seen. Next up is the testing and planning phase, so we'll have to see where that goes from there. But that was pretty rapid progress made in that regard. So we shall end our sojourn into science projects by going finally to Gerkow and her pheromonal scanner. You are currently working down the avenue of psychology as a means of trying to create these psychological training, this kind of psychological self-training needed in order to process extra data coming from a established sense. So that suggests that you might want Councillor Sax's assistance. But don't let me dictate.
Let's see. I can choose anyone else.
You could choose Dr. Sott. Dr. Sott has got psychology as well as psychiatry, so, you know.
I'll go with Dr. Sott. The safe bet.
I'm listening.
That's gotta... I almost didn't get that, Chris. See? That wit of yours, it just goes past at light speed. I have to put the brakes on to realise what just went past me.
It's fine, man. I've just got, just dealing with tossed salads and scrambled eggs.
I must not quote any further, otherwise I have to watch the series. Right. So Councillor Sax once again gets her competency burned. Makes you wonder why she bothers. Dr. Sott, however, can assist Gerkow with an investigation into the psychology aspect of a increased pheromonal sense. So, for Gerkow, this is going to be reason and medicine, and for Dr. Sott, this is going to be reason and medicine with a focus on psychiatry. 1 dice for Dr. Sott.
Oh, whoopsie.
Wow.
Oh dear.
Okay. So that thing about Councillor Sax being the safe bet.
Oh my goodness. Medicine is 1 as well. Oh, good focus, good focus.
Seeing as progress was made last time, I'll allow it. Some pretty good progress was made last time, so chances are good if you play it on probabilities. Okay. Okie dokie. Let's see what we got here. What I'm going to do is, because this was a science project, Dr. Sott, with his past experience in creating and managing various crew members and their augmentations, gets maybe a little bit ahead of himself by essentially saying, nah, they'll be fine. It's good, they'll deal with it. Turns out it's not that simple. So what I'm going to do there is, an error was caught, and therefore that complication is going to nullify one of your successes. So you don't get as far with it as you might have wanted to, but, if that complication hadn't have happened, you'd have finished this avenue of investigation.
Oof.
As it is, Dr. Sott's faux pas has set your research back a little bit, so that you won't be finishing it this time. But yeah, so now the numbers, whether or not the numbers aren't going the way you think because of Dr. Sott's miss with a decimal point or what have you, or a certain thesis of psychology, yet to be determined. So that's everybody's science projects. So yes, once again, it's been very interesting looking over the technical manual that Modiphius released for Star Trek Adventures 2nd edition and seeing a lot of the stuff we've already worked on or are working on here. So I had to chuckle. Okay. Now then, folks, I've put this off. I'm gonna do it. What have you done to that shuttle, Liz? Let's have a look. So, Bonnet's monster, we've called it now. And all things considered, it looks pretty good. Engine's looking really good on it.
Yeah, engines got bumped up twice, computers up once, and weapons up once.
Weapons up once, so it is slightly more potent. It doesn't have any weapon systems of its own.
Yet.
Currently. But we can always work on that. And yes, you quite rightly put in that the parent ship is now technically the Dokabach, so the Klingons are probably going to have no doubt a lot of fun trying to figure out how this thing actually works. Which is probably Bonnet's way of making them keep their filthy hands off of it, so...
It also figured out who the hell put a cloaking device on it?
Well, they may never know. But a certain giggling helm officer might actually be the culprit. Okay, cool. So, as I have mentioned previously, Traza is now back in technically as First Officer of the Combs and has brought Zippy the Muragar as well as Tiny the Targ along for the ride with her. As such, when Tiny and Zippy were first introduced to the Combs, Captain Sobek, shall we say, walked in on Traza's quarters to find the place being properly wrecked by the pair of the pair of creatures who were essentially running around and laying waste to everything in their path, as well as each other.
Tiny's pastime is messing with Zippy, and Zippy's pastime is hiding from Tiny.
So, as such, Captain Sobek more than likely walked in on Traza trying to control the two little pests whilst they were making a mess of her quarters. At which point Captain Sobek suggested that maybe for the meantime you might want to move your quarters to be in a reinforced cargo area. Just so that the boys have got room to roam.
But the funny part is, Charles probably was sleeping through the whole thing. She's used to it.
Let's go with that then, in that case. So, yes, a cargo bay has more than likely been appropriated by Zippy and Tiny for their containment. So, there we go.
Prominently dubbed the Targ Pit.
So there you go. The Combs now has a Targ Pit. I am told that the smell of Targ Pits is quite eye-watering, so... whenever the bay doors open and close, it wafts out into the surrounding corridors.
Grim.
Indeed. Another new addition to the crew is, of course, the Klingon weapons expert Dyneth, who you picked up during your last episode. The Klingon weapons expert who refused to make weapons to be used against the Federation, and so against orders essentially turning traitor, she left the Empire and tried to run away, but they pursued her. So essentially her family and herself been discommendated, if that is even the right word to use. So they've suffered the right of discommendation, so technically she is a Klingon without a house, without honor. And she has been invited to be the tactical officer of the Combs, which means that Lieutenant Garrow is now merely Chief of Security, which he probably feels better about, because that was more the role he felt comfortable in, was Chief of Security, doing security things. So he's now handed the reins over of tactical officer to someone with a bit more specialization. So in that regard, from a game standpoint, Dyneth now counts as a supporting character to your crew. She starts off a bit better than a regular supporting character would, because she's already been met once, and so she's carried on. She's carried over her Klingon talents as well as her value over from her being a non-player character. So yeah, she starts off better than a supporting character otherwise would have, but still has only 3 focuses to start with, and her stats have been changed around so that they mirror that of a starting supporting character. So Dyneth's journey as a member of the Combs crew can begin pretty much here. Now, before we begin on the episode proper, is there anything anybody would like to add? Anything that they think their character has gotten up to? One thing I'm very curious about in regards to your characters is how they feel overall. The Klingon War has come to an end and you are finally posted back at Narendra Station. What was the overall feeling for folks going back to Narendra Station?
Oh, are we allowed to...
Bit of a homecoming, you know?
Yeah, exactly. What was that, Mark?
Oh, sorry, I can't open Dyneth to look at her character sheet.
Oh, good point. Let me cast some light on myself here. Is Dyneth not able to be looked at? Let me change that. No, I neglected to give you guys ownership. Let me change that. Boom! There we go.
Boosh.
So she should be accessible to you all now. I had to go.
Like how she has Legion of Honor already.
Dyneth should not have Legion of Honor already, no.
Damn.
She hasn't been included yet in an episode now that she has become a supporting character, so something to aim for. That's interesting.
Used one of my many adjustments
Okay.
on Dyneth.
Oh,
And,
okay.
do I go for... Yeah, if everyone's happy with this, because she's only got 2 in command and 2 in science. I actually could use 2 of the adjustments for this. Reducing command to 1 from 2 and science from 2 to 1, but increasing her good stats, which is security and engineering.
I'm okay with that, if that's what you want to use your adjustments for, which is essentially like Phlesc taking on some of her training himself.
Yeah. Don't know how he's going to be training her in security, but definitely in engineering.
Well, you know, bringing her up so that her familiarity with the ship systems of the Combs as opposed to a Klingon ship.
Yeah, okay. I mean, if everyone's okay with that change.
Yeah.
I mean, her security was already 4, and you said
But
you
now
were using
it's
an
5.
adjustment?
Now it could be 5,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, because I was
They
reading
still-
that the Dyneth as the adjustment, the apartment can't go above 4.
That's a good point. But that is actually a very good point. Yes, if you're using an adjustment, it can't go above 4. Good point, thank you.
In which case,
Thank you,
we'll just
Liz.
do 1 off command, 1 into engineering, and I'll just use 1 adjustment.
Yeah,
Alright then.
I was like, Yeah, because I was like, isn't character art the only way to get up to 5?
Yes, should be. That rings a bell. Okay. So, Mark, feel free to make that change, as well as make a note in your character notes and/or personal log that you have used that adjustment in order to fuel that change. So, Phlesc, in a typically Phlesc fashion, has said, "You don't need much in the way of command skills. Let me train you more in how engineering works around here." Which makes a certain degree of sense, because Phlesc does have more knowledge of engineering. So, yeah, groovy, excellent. Anything else anybody wants to do?
Did you want me to increase the used tab?
Yes, please,
For my
if you could.
adjustment? All done.
Thank you, thank you. Chris, you mentioned that for Dr. Sott it was a homecoming. What was Dr. Sott's? What is Dr. Sott's homecoming to Narendra Station?
I was talking about the bar, preferably, but
Zargo's place, yes, indeed.
I get the impression Dr. Sott's a bit like the Morn of
A lot more chatty than Morn.
of Narendra Station. He's not quite as chatty as Morn, to be fair, but
always
He's
propping up the bar.
Morn never shuts up.
No, and if only he had actual, lines. But that just made the character funny. But Dr. Sott definitely does have lines, so here you are. The beard is paid big bucks.
The beard's got its own trailer.
Which colour of M&Ms has to be taken out of the bowl, I wonder. But anyway, that's that's a tangent all of itself. Everyone else's impressions of being back on Narendra Station. Anybody else want to venture?
Back on the double tables.
Back on the Dabo tables. Oh, how Gerkow has missed the Dabo tables again in Zargo's place.
Nature is healing.
Gave the shuttle, could I still use a character add a talent to the... Liz asking a rules question. How many talents does the shuttle have now? Because I do believe there is a limit.
Theoretically, it's 2. But yeah, because Hot Red Shuttle says additionally select 1 starship talent of your choice for use on the small craft.
Yeah, so there tends to be a limit on how many talents a ship can have, and that's to do with its scale. But through the use of character arcs and whatnot, which you folks have done before, you can add 1 extra talent over that limit, which you've done with the combs, and so looks like you've done with Bonnet's monster, so yeah. Looks like you've already done it.
Do we really need impulse drives?
Well, yes, you need impulse drive, but that's going to the talent of improved impulse drive, which means that whenever you succeed at the impulse attack pattern, evasive action, or ramming speed tasks, you can spend 2 momentum to increase the difficulty of the attacks against the enemy ship by 1 until the start of your flight controller's next turn due to the rapid acceleration. So, up to you if you think that's something you would rather switch with an adjustment. I'll let you mull on that yourself for a minute. Phlesc and Tavish, you guys get to have your families again.
Oh no, not again.
Your families now get to live with you on the station once more. So, yeah, the logistics of Phlesc and having his family take up that entire wing of the command level staff's accommodation area. How
There's
many
just
rooms
gonna
did
be-
you need to use again?
I think it was, what was it, 40, 50? But we were knocking through so the kids can just run around. So there's just going to be a cacophony of child noises and adult arguments. There's nothing discernible. It's just a
Noise.
mess of noise.
So the sound dampening on the neighbouring the neighbouring quarters is turned up to max. Gotcha.
Is essential.
Nice. Tavish, you finally get to have his, what is it, Tavish's sister, cousin that looks after her daughter?
Yes, it's a cousin.
It's a cousin. So
Yes.
finally gets to bring her back to Narendra Station.
Yeah, and the first thing she's doing is setting up a play date between both of her daughters.
Cool beans.
So Aurora is going to meet Nylan. Oh,
Excuse me, we are now getting the
There it
test
is.
alert.
I was still bracing for it, and
It still made you jump.
oh god, yep.
I can hear it now.
Now, question: would Hopkins theoretically be within her
mind.
old quarters because that was where Starfleet was, or did she get new quarters in the Klingon portion?
Well, that's a question. Where would Traza place herself?
I mean, if she's still technically part of the Empire, it would make sense that she has the quarters in the Klingon section.
So, is that what you want to go with? That Traza lives in the Klingon living residential area?
Yeah, it would make more sense saying that she's only an exchange student per se.
Exchange officer, yes. Okay, no, that's fair. So, Traza lives. Her Narendra Station quarters are in the area where the Klingons have their living quarters. Okay. Good. Fine. So, Dr. Sott went to the bar, Gerkow went to the Dabo table, Traza is living in with her kindred. Phlesc has that enormous wing of rooms with their dividing walls knocked through, and Tavish is able to get her family back on board as well. Yes, Liz?
She's also probably in the fighting pits with her aunt. Again.
Okay. So,
Phlesc
Yeah,
is going to send a private note to Hopkins asking, "Can I bring some kids down to watch the target pits? I just need to distract them for a while."
aha. Does Traza say yes?
How many is a few?
How many?
No, just 12, just the older ones, just the older kids.
Okay, interesting. Taking the kids along to watch Targs have a run around in a fight. Interesting. So, we begin our episode.
I agree. Just like, oh, I didn't miss this.
Okay, cool. So we begin this episode, which is episode 33, I do believe. This episode is called Decision Point, and we are at Stardate 50583.4, which I shall post by here.
Thank you.
It has been, let me see, 3 weeks since the end of your last mission, which was the extraction of Dyneth. This is 1 week after the Cardassians have joined the Dominion. The Klingons retreated from Cardassian space very firmly beaten out, and the Khitomer Accords were reinstated. So, most of that period of that week has been spent essentially moving yourselves back into Narendra Station. All has not been well, however. There is a very definite feeling of tension on the station. So, I am going to start us out by having us join Commander Phlesc. It's another morning. The family's busy with morning-related things, and so it's time to take the kids to school.
Come on, everyone, hold hands. Hold hands. 2 by 2. There we go.
How many of the other adults are coming with?
There'll be 3 other adults, so 2 at the front, 2 at the back. Make it just to make sure that they are going the right way and no one's running off.
All right. So the foreguard and the rearguard.
Exactly.
Gotcha. But Phlesc hasn't been able to do this for probably over a year now, so this is something that's familiar. It's a nice view of the mundane that Phlesc hasn't been able to do for a good long while, is to help escort his children to school for the day. And so, you should remember from way back when you were last on Narendra Station, one of Phlesk's sons had a Klingon friend that he made in school, and so
a naughty word.
Yes, well, we don't use the P word apparently. Does anybody remember what the P word was?
Batog.
No
Aha.
one remembers because it's a naughty word and we've forgotten it.
Leave it for the Klingon to remember, though.
Indeed. And so, yes, well, Phlesc, this is a bit of a one of those moments, not heart-wrenching exactly, but it reinforces how long Phlesc has been away from this and how much time has gone past. It's only a year, but kids can grow up so much in a year. So Phlesk's boy is now older, taller than he was before. More mature is, well, that's up to Mark what he thinks his boy is capable of as far as maturity. But nevertheless, your boy, Phlesk's boy, is practically skipping along. Can't wait. Can't wait to see his friend Zarg. It's when, as you are in the lead of the troop, marching their way down towards the school. Who's up front with Phlesc, Mark? Is it one of his wives or one of the other husbands?
One
of the other wives.
One of the other wives.
Hey. So not one of Phlesk's direct wives, but one of the wives of Phlesk's wives' husbands.
Yes.
Denobulance,
The wider.
man.
It gets messy.
It does get messy. So, that's
On the
when...
outside, it's actually perfectly sensible to a denobulant. It's easier when you have a big family to just corral a herd of children.
Speaking of corralling and a herd, for those of you who have Sirenscape up, you should have noticed a change to the sound, the ambience.
Spooky.
Ooh.
There's definitely a commotion coming from up ahead of you. So I am just going to make sure that the way ahead is ready for you. Yes, it is. So, the other adult in the lead looks at Phlesc and goes, "Wait, do you hear that?"
Yeah, hopefully that's not on our way. We don't need more distractions trying to keep the kids in line. They're going to run off.
Unfortunately, as you round a corner, what Phlesc finds is there is a very large, very noisy, very angry gathering right in front of the entrance to the school. There appear to be a number of mostly Federation citizens, it seems, all civilians, outside of the school, pretty much blocking the entrance, and there's a big mass of them. Some of them are holding on to younger, smaller children who maybe at the moment are a little too young for school, but nonetheless there is this mass of people, and they're all yelling at a small contingent, one, maybe two, Klingons with their children next to them. And they appear to be barring the way of the Klingons to get into the school. So the other husband looks at Phlesc with a worried expression.
It's alright. I think I've got an idea. Phlesc just go, come on, make way, we've got a herd of Donobulans to come through. And he's trying to march the column into the school. And he just nudges the first Klingon. Because I'm assuming they just have a child each.
Yes, essentially.
And says, sneak him in here. Because, you know, there's a big group of Denobulan kids, just push him in, sneak him in.
Well, as Phlesc marches up, there is definitely one human woman at the very front of this group who appeared to be maybe the ringleader, or at the very least is the one out front and is doing the most shouting, or at least appears to be the mouthpiece. And as soon as Phlesc turns up, she immediately zeroes in on him and goes, "Aha! At last! A Starfleet officer! Can't you tell these people that we have no wish to have their sort in here with our children? Especially since you have such a large group of children."
You say my children are not welcome in the school?
No, sir, I'm saying that these people, and she gestures to the Klingons, are not welcome with the rest of us.
No, of course not. It'd be very inappropriate for adults to come to a child's school. Now, if you don't mind, I'm trying to get these kids to school. Don't worry, I'll take the adults away shortly and we'll have a quick chat about this. But if you don't mind, this is a lot of Denobulan kids here. They're a bit of a nightmare to get moving. If we stop, they're going to cause a little bit of trouble. Just let them through, please. As Phlesc is trying to sneak in the cluster of Denobulan kids, like throwing little jackets over the Klingon kids just to hide them in the middle. Giving a little wink to
Interesting. Okay.
Giving a wink to the Klingons as he does it.
I want you to give me now. What's duplicity going to be here?
I have a focus in persuasion, and I have a value in negotiation.
You do. That suggests you want to use a point of determination here.
I'm thinking about it, but
okay. This is going to be your daring and command is going to be used here as a way of trying to use your gift of gab to distract.
Let me see if I've got the right one here. Yes. Here we go. I don't use this very often.
The palm leaf of Pegasi Peace mission.
You didn't use it the last mission?
Yeah, no, this makes it a total of twice. So, in order to do this, depending on the task difficulty, I'm actually then also going to use my value of negotiation to get some momentum. Can you see why I'm trying to stack this now? I'm going to roll.
I do.
Try to succeed, but then reduce the difficulty from the extra momentum I generate. So I'll roll for the daring and command. I'm going to use my value of negotiation, and also using my focus in persuasion. And see, as I'm chucking everything at it at this point, do I want to spend any of the other themajigs? No, I won't. So yeah, I'm going to somehow make a note of this at some point.
Yeah, I would like you in Phlesc's personal log to make a note that your value of negotiation it persuaded you to act in this fashion to try and put this down. So yeah.
It's a bit of a stretch saying I'm using my value negotiation for deception. It would be the second time I've done it, but that was a pre-warp civilization.
Yeah.
And right now, I'm using it for deception again. So the only two times I've used my missions, I've used my palm leaf of Pegasi Peace, was also the missions where I'm using this value of negotiation for duplicity. So yeah, I'm going to leave the notes up there and somehow work it out.
Does this challenge his
No,
value?
I'm using this for... I'm not making it harder for myself, I'm using it to get that dice.
Okay, but what I'm getting at is this starting to change Phlesc's mind about what's more important, the the value of negotiation or the value of at least of deceiving people away around to your way of thinking? Because this seems to be how it's gone on for the last couple of times. So is this reinforcing his value for the need for negotiation, or is it changing it slightly?
No, it's reinforcing it, because negotiation is not just enforcing my will, it's doing the right thing. And it's negotiating with myself on how to achieve that, as well as negotiate with other people. Sometimes that's reminding them of the right thing to do, other times it's making them believe they got what they wanted.
Okay.
So they think they've won, which is a really good negotiation.
I like it. I like the justification. Okay, good. So, yes. Roll them bones, as they say.
I'm using a focus, I'm using a determination, rolling 2 dice. And if I get enough from this, lower the difficulty. Let's see what happens. Oh, my dice roll
pretty damn good.
Where did that go? Can't even see. Oh, there we go. I can see it. Right, 5 successes. What was the difficulty originally?
It was going to be 3 or 4, but yeah, boom, bada boom.
Cool.
Okay. Due to the sheer weight of numbers of Phlesk's children, the Klingon children are able to be smuggled in. Because essentially you have a gang, if not a mob, of children with which it's almost impossible to keep track of. Luckily, the mob themselves are so distracted by the adult Klingons that they don't take too much active notice of the children who do pass between them. And so, much to your own sense of self-achievement, you've managed to smuggle in Klingon children into the school.
And once the kids are in, I'm just going to loudly say, I'm going to take the Klingons now, we're going to go to the bar and discuss this civilly over some blood wine. If you could please disperse and stop causing a ruckus, I will discuss this now.
We are not going to disperse because this is a problem that needs to be addressed here today. Now, how can you, as a Starfleet officer, be justifying allowing these kinds of people to send their children to mix with ours? Didn't you fight in the war?
Yes, I did. And the war's now over. And
well,
Starfleet,
unlike you,
as well as the Federation, welcomes everyone.
Welcomes everyone? Even people who justify attacking women, children, elders, medics?
Do these people look like warriors? Do other children to
The
blame?
the Klingon's gonna look at Phlesc askance at that. What are you suggesting?
Yeah. Phlesc is just going to give him a quick glance of shut the fuck up. Just play along. The children are blameless, and if we want to teach them of the right way to behave, or the way that we in the Federation behave, sending their kids to school is the way to do it. Prolonging the war through this kind of division and sedition is not going to help anyone.
And so you're good with just forgiving and forgetting, is that it? That's what you want to tell your children when they go to bed at night?
Yes, that you can make peace and heal and learn from each other.
Forget
And the
about all of
children
the
are blameless.
hundreds, if not thousands, of people who were killed by the blades of these people, and she points at the Klingons, who are unapologetic about it.
Forgiveness is for me, it's for yourself. It's not for the other person. As for forgetting, I'm not saying you should do that. But
Well, I,
forgiving,
for one...
don't do it.
Go on, sorry.
Oh yeah, forgiving is for yourself, not for the other party. To make it easier, rather than holding on to the hate. This is not how we build a civil society. Now this sounds like something we should bring up somewhere away from the children, and I would recommend we have a town hall with Starfleet and senior members of the Federation to discuss this issue, not targeting children who are not to blame for any of this or any of the feelings.
That particular comment goes a long way towards making Some of the other participants look a bit uncomfortable. And so they start looking at each other a bit like, he's got a damn good point. So the lady in the front goes, that is a very good point you've just made. And she looks at the Phlesc lapel. Commando, I will make sure to bring this up to the Federation liaisons. Come on, everybody. We have an official statement to make. And so, the civilians start to disperse. So, take the complaint down, the angry mob sounds down a notch.
Phlesc is just turn to the Klingons. I'm pretty sure we could get away with this a couple more times, but we're going to have to address this at the town hall, or meeting, or complaint. But for now, let's just try and share some coats and sneak your kids in and out until this is resolved properly.
You
Phlesc
put your own... So pardon me, sorry, Mark. The Klingon looks Phlesc up and down and goes, you actually put your own status and your own children's welfare at stake there for our children.
Well, if you're not welcome here, then very quickly we won't have a supply of blood wine at the bar. It's not entirely selfless.
There's a big old smirk that shows some, mismatched sharp teeth in that Klingon's mouth, but he slaps a very heavy hand on your shoulder, which is the kind of thing that usually makes Phlesc go... But Phlesc is so damn used to this by now. He sees it coming and just braces himself.
Phlesc is going to have a kind of... that face of, I don't need to deal with this right now. Not the Klingon, just the kerfuffle with the civilian protester. He's got a very big sense that this is futile and pointless. It's a pointless distraction from good work that could be done. He knows it needs to be resolved. He's like, oh, come on, is this really, really what we need to focus? They need to focus their energy on. But he's just glad it's been resolved for now. But we'll be letting the senior leadership team on the station know of the problem. And that it's been averted for now. The sense of, really? Like...
the wariness.
Gaggle of Karens. Yeah, the gaggle of Karens. I don't need this. I've just corralled a load of kids. I don't need this.
I haven't even had my morning coffee yet. Okay. The Klingons nonetheless look very impressed at Phlesc, especially with what he just said there about it's not me, it's about the blood wine. So they do cock some crooked grins at him and says, you have honor there. We will remember this. And they walk away. Nonetheless, the other husbands and the other wives look at Phlesc and go, well, that was well handled. Well done.
Phlesc is just going to have a bit of a smirk on his face. Yeah, that's why I'm that's why I'm head daddy. It's just the smirk. That's why I'm patriarch of the family.
Yeah, boy.
Quickly look around for the matriarch because he doesn't want to be in trouble.
Yeah, she's not behind me, is she? It's nothing, dear. I wasn't saying anything. Okay, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. All right. I am going to transport us away from here. And I am going to... That's something I'm going to ask, actually, is of all of the primary command staff. I mean, with Traza, it's assumed, but the rest of you, how many of you are actually going to morning combat practice down in the Klingon training pit area?
I think Gerkow would.
What about the rest? I mean, Traza, obviously. Would Phlesc go there after all of this, or?
Phlesc is going to go, but he's not going to trade. He's just going to be walking in with a Rakatachino just to watch.
Okay.
Same with Sott, I think.
Just gonna go and watch. Okay. Okay, fine. What was that, sorry, Connie?
I'm just thinking, it's like Phlesc is such one of those yummy mummies who take their children to school and then have a coffee after. That's it.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Okay. So, Traza, well, of Traza it's expected, if not demanded. That leaves Tavish.
Nope.
Nope.
And she's not even going to watch.
Okay. In that case, I am going to the main engine room of the Combs now. As we switch up a little bit. If I can just find engineering. The engine hum. As we find ourselves in main engineering, the morning shift. So Tavish is there just doing the essentially the morning system diagnostic to see how everything is going. Things in engineering as such are relatively quiet because the ship is in dock. All of the recent stuff with building up the testing and the theorizing of the spinning subspace fields has been put to bed for the moment, so there's nothing more that needs doing there. This is just basic morning maintenance routine. And it's at this point that Ensign Kenson, I can actually say it without cracking up now. No, sorry, no, there's still a smirk on my face. It crapped on. God damn it. You'd think I'd get used to it, but no, it's still funny. Ensign Kenson wanders nonchalantly up to the main engineering console here, has a look at the data pad in front of her, puts the pad down, rests her elbows on the table display, and has a sideways look over at Tavish, who's just there looking through the checklist of tasks to do on the comparing it with the notes in her pad. And Kenson coughs and just says, "So, not going for morning Klingon bat'leth training with the others?"
No. Why would I want to do bat'lift training?
Kenson nods sagely. I get it. I do. So, a couple of us are having a meeting down in main cargo bay in about 20 minutes.
What you meeting about?
I think you'd be very interested in the meeting if the general vibe I'm getting from you is what I think it is. So, 20 minutes, main cargo bay. We'll see you there, yeah?
Okay.
Ensign straightens up, looks at a data pad, checks off a couple of things, and just walks off. See you down there, Chief.
See you down there, Ensign.
Meanwhile, quickly going to jump us off to Deck 2, the main mess hall. So I'm going to jump us to here. Traza is on her morning rounds. The usual thing a first officer does first thing in the morning is just have a basic walk around the ship. Kind of a morning ritual. And so Traza inevitably makes her way to the mess hall and just walks through the door. Finds the usual selection of people there, mostly the people who are going to be on shift soon, but also the guys of night shift who are coming off of shift and just want to have a relax before they actually do start their shift. So other people might be about, maybe a Gerkow, maybe a Sott. That's considering they're now in the Klingon practice cages. So this is Traza's rounds before she actually goes down to the practice cages of the arena. I say practice cages. I've been reading too much Warhammer 40k. It's actually the Klingon training pit. Pardon me.
Are Nurse Uro and Counselor Sax supposed to be hurt?
They are supporting characters who only have one value on their character sheet so far, so they only have half a stress track. The moment Nurse Uro and Councillor Sax are used often enough that for their character development they gain a second. If either of them gain a second value, that's when their stress track gets to go all the way up.
Okay, it just looked weird.
Yeah, it does. It looks like they've all got like a permanent injury or something, but no. In Star Trek 2nd Edition, Star Trek Adventures 2nd Edition, supporting characters who don't yet have 2 values or more only get half a stress track. Those who don't even have a value get no stress track whatsoever, like Lieutenant Dufresne here. Or indeed, Ensign version. Poor Malcolm, yes. Check out my gravel pit.
I could just hear that song every time you're saying training pit.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, Charles would probably walk in just nursing a mug of blood wine as she walks around.
So she steps into the room, or does she stay in the doorway?
She'll step in for now.
The moment she steps in, a number of individuals detach themselves from their seats, particularly this guy here, who gets out of his seat and actively bars Traz's way as other operations officers seem to come around to the side of him and behind him. This guy you recognize as part of Lieutenant Garrow's security team. This is Lieutenant Osborne. And he's got what you suppose, by the smell of it, is a morning cup of coffee, and he's still holding it as he gets up and actively stands in Traz's way. And still holding his coffee mug, he looks Traza up and down and goes, "You know, this mess hall's just for Starfleet." So you might just want to turn yourself around there, Commander.
Starfleet, huh? I bet you I had better grades than you in the Academy.
That's where we're going, is it? Intellectual superiority, as long as the physical one, is it? Why don't you just calmly walk your way out the door you came from, and we'll consider everything fine and dandy, shall we? Off you go.
Can Dr. Sott either intervene or be on standby? I've got my warm welcome.
Sure.
Traza's sipping blood wine, and you can... Like, Dr. Sott probably knows Traza a lot better than most.
Yes, so
you can tell...
There's definitely an uh-oh kind of moment going on here.
Especially since she spent like a year on a Klingon ship.
So, anytime you want to march yourself out those doors, Commander. Unless you want us to march you.
Now, when you say Starfleet, do you mean current Starfleet, or anyone who has put on the uniform?
Osborne looks Traza up and down. Not that you'd know about the latter, eh?
You forget, before the war, I was a commissioned officer in Starfleet.
Funny you should mention that, because that seems to be something that you've forgotten too.
I chose to resign my commission.
Yeah, you did.
Live with family I had on both sides.
Family. I've heard Starfleet referred to as a family before. It's a nice little Nice little sentimental moniker they give it. But what it is, I think, that defines Starfleet officers best of all is loyalty. You know? That whole thing, loyalty to the ideals, loyalty to the uniform. None of which you're familiar with, are you, Commander? I mean, you ditched that uniform and the whole precepts of what Starfleet stands for the first moment you were given the option. And who did you side with? Go on, I want to hear you say it. Who did you side with?
With my family.
Who are... yeah. Lieutenant Osborne notices that Gerkow is stood right next to him. Lieutenant Commander Gerkow, and he straightens up. I've got this handle, sir.
Is just going to ignore him and be like, Trouser, come, join us.
I wouldn't recommend that, Commander.
And then I'll shout to Lieutenant Garrow, you need to control your men better.
Garrow.
And that's
Calling in
what-
Garrow. Okay, hold on here.
Rosa is just drinking her blood wine, like all white knuckled and everything.
So, yeah, Gerkow calling in Garrow. Okay, Garrow walks up and is staying back a little bit and just taking it all in. Is there a problem here, Lieutenant? As he indicates to Osborne. Osborne smartly keeping the rigid spine and shoulders back. Only problem I can see here, sir, is a question of loyalty, morality, and, dare I say it, ethics, sir. Take Commander Traza, for instance, sir. Abandoned Starfleet to go spend time with her Klingon kin. Then spent the majority of a year assisting Klingons attacking Federation outposts, justifying Klingon activities along the border. The killing of Starfleet crew, the execution of their captains, destruction of colonies. Do I need to go on, sir? Doesn't seem like he knows how to respond to that. About Gerkow and Sott. Or Traza. Yes, Connie.
I guess Gerkow would say, do you know that Trouser, Commander Hopkins, to you, did this personally? Are we all collaborators with the Klingons, as we're part of House Crow as well?
Lieutenant Osborne looks down at Gerkow the moment she says that and notices the house insignia of House Krell that Gerkow is wearing. I presume she's wearing.
Always.
Permission to speak freely, Commander Gerkow, sir.
No.
Very well, sir.
Beautiful.
In that case, may I be excused so that I may resume my duties, Commander Gerkow, sir.
Please. And I would advise you to re-familiarize yourself with the ethics and the code of Starfleet, so that you don't misunderstand them again and apply them erroneously for discrimination.
Am I being accused of being a racist, Commander?
Is that how you're taking it?
No, sir.
Racist says what?
Way to diffuse a tense situation here.
Off we go.
Aye, sir. I shall be reporting to my duty. Now, sir. Osborne and his contingent walk around, but not before they each look down at Hot Trousers' shoes, essentially, before they leave. Garrow walks over. I feel I have to apologise on behalf of my my security contingent there, Commander.
I figured it wouldn't be easy for some people to remove grudges. Though I don't have nearly enough blood wine to deal with it half the time.
While I've got you all here, Commanders, Doctor, I've been getting increased reports from the crew of dissatisfaction. Mostly to do with the inclusion of yourself back amongst the crew, Commander Traza. We're dealing with a problem of morale as much as anything else, I think, but I don't think this is going to be the last time we're going to hear about this. I'm going to try and deal with it as much as I can, sirs, but I think this is going to be a problem we're all going to be dealing with.
You're just gonna have to get used to the fact that I am currently back. It is to help try to mend the bridges between the Klingons and the Federation after the war.
I'd ask you to take it a little easy on Osborne, if you could. I mean, I'm still going to reprimand him for speaking to a superior officer in that fashion, but Osborne lost his father, his brother, and his cousin on board the USS Ichimura to a Klingon attack. He is probably still dealing with the grief, sir.
Yes.
I'll ask him to report to the Chancellor as often as possible.
And kindly remind him that everyone lost somebody during the war. I could say the same about me. Few of House Crow's ships were lost during the war too. And most of the captains are either close friends or relatives of the house.
Marta, with all due respect, who do you think you're talking to? I'm a Bajoran. I know all about loss.
I just figured to at least remind him that the pain does go both ways.
Of course. If you'll excuse me, Doctor, Commanders, I need to put this down in a log, and then consider serious disciplinary matters for my men. But thank you for being here to help defuse the situation, Doctor. Commander Gerkow. Excuse me, I've got paperwork.
Might as well state I didn't miss while I was gone.
I am now going to take us from the mess hall towards primary cargo bay, where I
I
need...
don't feel like that meeting is about Chaucer coming back to the crew. I have a feeling the meeting in the cargo bay is about that.
Okay, yeah, sure enough. Curious with what is actually going on. Tavish finds her way down to the primary cargo bay and does indeed find Ensign Kenson, along with certain other officers already assembled in amongst the cargo pods, having some kind of talk, some kind of meeting. Kenson notices Tavish comes in and then goes, Chief! Good, you're here. Starting to wonder if you were going to come or not.
Yeah, I said I would be here. Matt.
Yo.
Inside my head, can I tell Nilil to start recording this?
Okie dokie.
Acknowledged. You assume, however, that I'm not always recording things. I am.
Oh,
I do.
oh inside her head, she just goes, "Thank you."
So, Chief, we've been
Yes.
talking about the elephant on the command bridge.
Rude.
Hold on, there's an elephant on the command bridge.
Surely
Good
you've
thing
got to
this
think
is
the
this.
same, right? It's not a good idea for Commander Traza to be coming back. And certainly not a good idea for her to be bringing friends along, too.
Oh, we're talking about Traza. Okay. She just goes, "Excuse me, you can go and stand over there." And she points to there.
Is she telling that to Kenson or to one of the other officers?
The person in front of her, the security officer.
He takes a step to the side.
Thank you.
They're all
Kenson.
looking at Tavish with an air of expectancy.
Kenson,
Yes, Chief.
are you going to get in the talking circle or what?
Sure. So, first off,
And how about you back there? Hello?
sure, Chief. I'm here just keeping a lookout, just in case somebody who's not wanted busts themselves in.
Okay, alright. So, let's talk about this.
Okay, so some of the guys and I have been talking, and scuttlebutt is that, well, we couldn't help but notice that as soon as Traza moved in, Bonnet was moved away. And what with the Klingons having done what they've done during the course of the last year and a bit, we were wondering if you had any input on as to whether or not they were actually holding Bonnet hostage, and whether or not the Klingons are actually here to spy on us.
All I'm saying, has anyone ever seen Traza and Bonnet in the same room at one time?
I was just about to say.
See, it's that rapier wit of yours. It just happens too fast.
I'm open.
does.
I'm sorry.
It's alright, don't worry about it. I'm going to change my response now.
Soft just over the messenger, like he just calmed everyone for that.
From what I know, it was approved.
Yeah, sure, but
It was an exchange program. Captain approved it.
of course he did. He's got a soft spot for remembering what Traza was like before now, but, you know,
Okay.
she's been with the Klingons for how long now? Who knows what she's picked up? Who knows if she's even the same person we were anymore? Who's to say they didn't switch her with somebody? Isn't that how she got changed? Somebody switched themselves out with her or something, or changed her?
It's not unfounded.
Let's look at this from a more logical point of view.
The Vulcan in the group definitely seems to approve of that statement.
Okay, like, first of all, I haven't seen Commander Traza or Commander Hopkins yet. I haven't even had the chance to talk to her. I've been doing my duties like all of us have been doing. So, if she has, you know, if this is the real Traza, or maybe a fake Traza, then I wouldn't know.
But how long? How long until they start posting more Klingon officers here on the ship? How long until they start having Klingon engineers snooping around our engineering section, having a look at everything we're doing? What's to stop them then declaring war again and using everything they know about us?
Ensign, let me. I don't think you were part of comms when this happened, though. She does look around to see the rest of rest of the people here. Were they around when we were still back on the Andra station before?
At least one of these officers is a young engineer, and therefore from your engineering group. But I've never pictured Tavish paying that much attention to anyone who isn't under her direct command.
Okay, so
there's every possibility the older one of the lot might have been on Narendra Station ahead of time, but the others all look pretty young, pretty new.
So let's go for your engineering thing. Ensign, I'm training you up to be a fantastic engineer. Yes?
Sure.
Yeah. You are actually pretty competent, and I think you can go far. When it comes to Klingon and engineering, though, and this is a learning experience. Yeah. We back when we were back on the Andra Station last time before the war, there was a little contest between the Klingons and Starfleet. Do any of you remember this?
The older member of the gathering does nod his head.
Yes. Well, see, there was a game played by the engineers of both, the Klingons and
Yeah, sure.
The Federation. She looks to the older gentleman. Do you know what happened in that?
I seem to recall something about them losing.
Yes. And there's the thing, they didn't just lose, slightly. I destroyed them.
Okay,
I
Chief.
am that good.
Chief, no one is disputing how good you are, and if it came to them trying to cyber attack our stuff, I don't doubt you could deal with it. But think of it. Logical steps. First they kidnap Bonnet, then they install someone of their own in a command position. Who knows how far it's going to go? We need to do something now before it goes too far.
And what do you suggest?
We gotta have a word with the captain, with maybe even Admiral Hebert. Get him off our ship.
Why do we need to get these people off the ship? Are you thinking there's going to be another war?
Why not? They're Klingons. Did you see how fast they went from 0 to we'll take what we can from Federation borders? Come on. Am I the only one who thinks that whole Arcanus sector attack was anything but using the Federation's disagreement with them as an excuse? The Klingons have always been a warrior society. They've always been champing at the bit for a new war. And the moment the Federation stood up and said the Cardassians aren't what you think they are, the Klingons used that as an excuse to round on us. And we've been living that for the past year. And the Klingons have loved every second of it. And now we're supposed to all of a sudden play nice with the lion in amongst the sheep?
Are you calling us sheep?
Come on! We're not Klingons!
No, we're not. We're the Federation.
Exactly! They're going to take advantage of that. They already have.
So what if the captain dismisses your claims? What if the admiral dismisses your claims?
Then we'll just have to try something else.
Exactly what?
Well, She looks around at some of the other guys who seem to give kind of non-committal kind of looks between each other. There's always things we can do to show, you know, basically, Ridgehead go home.
Ensign, Kenson, look, you're not giving me much information here. I am all for, you know, helping you go to the captain, go to the admiral, and have these conversations to put your concerns forward. I am happy to do that, but if you want me to do anything else apart from that, you're going to have to tell me.
Okay. So, if it comes to it, that means we can come to you with a problem. Yeah?
I'm asking what your plan... Look, make a plan. What is the plan after talking to Starfleet about this?
That all depends on Starfleet. But there's always protest. And there's lots of ways to protest.
What kind of protest? Are we talking standing in
Look, Chief, how about we just leave this conversation? It's fine. You're obviously...
No.
It's cool, Chief. I was just sounding out ideas. Come on, guys. Let's get back to work, huh? No, it's Chief. It's fine. It's okay.
No, you're all... Look. Listen to me. If you want help, I will give it to you.
Okay. Then we'll contact you when the time is right. In the meantime, let's just get back to what we were doing before, huh?
Yes.
Come on, guys. The Chief has got stuff she probably wants us doing. Let's break this party up, huh? So the other members quietly start removing themselves from the group. Eversion just pulls this young engineer to the side, pats him on the shoulder, and they start to walk off towards the other entrance to the cargo bay. They make a turning in the direction where engineering is, but Kenson gives one last look at Tavish over her shoulder before she disappears from view. Tavish isn't sure what that look meant, but there's just something in Tavish's gut that says that this can't go well. And so...
can I do something?
Quickly?
I'm going to send that video to the captain's private account message, you know.
Sure. So a private secure communication to the captain. Gotcha.
Yes.
With everything you just saw.
Yes, and...
Okay.
And with a message going, I will keep an eye out on the situation. Let me know if you would like me to do anything else.
Okay, cool. I'm going to finish us up in this particular stint with a trip some time later to Zargo's place. Where we go to where most people know your name, where most people go to relax. So, the folks that are probably going to be notable for their presence here in this group is Dr. Sott, who said he usually likes to prop up the bar in Zargo's place, and of course, if we're going to Zargo's place, then the other thing they've got is Darbo tables, which is where we find Commander Gerkow, who is currently... I believe the best word for it is fleecing Mr. Rayner for all he's worth. One thing that is terribly notable about the atmosphere in Zargo's place, however, is irrespective of how much latinum that Gerkow is currently making out of Reyna, who stupidly thinks that he can keep bluffing her out of more latinum, is the fact that the whole interior seems very much divided. The Klingons are sat down in this kind of sunken pit area, where the Starfleet and Federation types have pretty much assumed the level overlooking them. There are more than a few folks who are sitting at their tables and casting occasional looks back at the Klingons, and there are a pair of guys here who look to be security officers, who have actually come in armed, but they just stand there near to the main doors. So, for the most part, things are just proceeding quietly. There's a small amount of the sound of the Dabo table ticking over, but a lot of folks are otherwise just drinking quietly. Until the doors open and a raucous group of Klingons walks in, led by an individual who is apparently recounting a story. And so there I was, on board of their bridge. The Tellarite captain looked up at me, and he started to beg for his life. Not just his, but for the life of his crew. To which the other Klingons start to laugh as they sit down. So, with this Tellarite on his knees, I took out my duck dog, and I slit his throat from ear to ear, at which point the Klingons cheer. Now, Dr. Sott being the closest to all of this, there's a definite sense from the Starfleet crew of them stopping what they're doing, and they're all looking back at this Klingon. One of the Klingon warriors at the table listening to this story says, "Captain, what was the name of that puny vessel once again?" At which point his captain goes, "Oh, it was some stupid human word. What was it? Yamaguchi, I think." At which point, Dr. Sott hears the very definite sound of a chair being squeaked out of its current position. And a man in a blue science uniform actually stands up from the chair that he's just moved and coldly regards the Klingons down on the bottom table. At which point he moves his way around, as some of these security officers also sweep around too. And others block off the other stairs. At which point, this man in the pips of a lieutenant, but the blue colouring of science, walks around the table to get at the head of it, and stands just above the Klingon captain. But what you were saying about the Yamaguchi? The Klingon looks up at him. "Ah! Come to admire my story as well, huh? Pull up a chair, human. You may just learn something about how to prosecute a war." The human looks down at the Klingon, takes the proffered drink, one of the drinks from the table, looks at it, and then flings it in the Klingon's face. Which, of course, prompts the Klingon captain to surge to his feet along with the rest of his crew. The moment they do, the human security officers who already had their hands on their weapons draw them and move in. Dr. Sott, Commander Gerkow, you are present in this room at this point, and everybody's attention has been drawn over to what this confrontation going on. What would you like to do?
slapping my communicator to be like, oh, it's all kicking off down the bar. Otherwise, though, want to try and step intermediate like Gerkow is doing.
Gerkow is very closely inserting herself into the issue here.
Yeah. Against the two towering figures, he just steps in and is like, "What's going on here? I was trying to end my Latinum, but all this commotion is throwing me off my game."
Commander, says the Klingon. You need to keep a tighter rein on your officers. This one just made a grave mistake at throwing my drink in my face. In the Klingon Empire, that would be considered a grave offense, an offense worthy of the death penalty. The blue shirt lieutenant responds with, Commander, do you know what the Yamaguchi was? Do you, Klingon captain? The Klingon captain just stands there, looks at Dr. Sott and Commander Gerkow with a slightly suspicious air, but otherwise... It is a ship. A Federation ship. A Starfleet ship. And we were at war. The blue shirt looks towards Commander Gerkow. Commander, my name is Lieutenant Shanks. Do you know what the USS Yamaguchi was, Commander? It was a repair tug. The whole point of a repair tug is to go in and find starships that are in need of repair, and to repair them as it tows them away. Do you know how these Klingons came across the Yamaguchi? These Klingons had already attacked a civilian convoy full of medical supplies, but left the convoy intact enough that they could still send a distress signal. And then their ship waited, cloaked, for the Yamaguchi to turn up. The Yamaguchi had no weapons. It's a repair and retrieval tug. And still, these cowards waited until the Yamaguchi came in, shields lowered. And then they attacked. Spineless cowards. Now the Klingons, as you might imagine from that comment, are really not pleased, and they start shouting and screaming. Commander, you need to get a tighter rein on your pup before I am forced to kill him. Lieutenant Shanks responds, Kill me like you did all of those civilians on Omega 4. Or the medical personnel on Sirius 3. Is this really who we're allying ourselves with now, Commander?
I would tell Lieutenant Shanks, please calm yourselves. These are unique circumstances we are in. Don't mind the Klingons who will gloat about this honorable victories. Let's just calm down and move ourselves away from here.
Honorable victories.
We will not be discussing this here. Please go back to your room, go back to your quarters, and we will discuss this later.
You're telling me off and sending me to my room, Commander. Are you so easily able to forgive these people? You heard them. They beheaded the They executed the captain of a repair and resupply vessel. After they jumped him. Are these the people you want us to ally with? This is honorable combat. Shanks looks at the Klingon and spits on the table. I will not be going to my room, Commander. And he pulls off his communicator. I'll not be a part of anything that so easily forgives this. He flings the communicator on the table, walks off. Security officers start to back away and holster their weapons, but there's now a serious murmur going on amongst the Starfleet lot. The Klingon captain, however... It is out of respect for our new alliance that I did not kill that man where he stood.
Then
You
out of respect...
understand. Go on, sorry.
Then out of respect you will refrain from talking about your so-called victories against the Federation.
How else
Of
is
this
anyone
recent
to
war.
know of my exploits if I do not tell them?
I didn't know you needed external validation. I thought Klingons were proud enough of their own.
After that comment, there's a couple of the Klingon merchants who tend to hang around Zago's bar. They actually emit a chuckle from that, which the Klingon captain kind of bridles at, but he nods at Gerkow about this. Very well, Commander. I will observe your recommendation whilst here on the station. He slowly sits himself back down. I wouldn't want to hurt anyone's feelings, after all. And he smirks at that. Alright.
Gerkow just shakes her head, just like, okay, you do you.
Okay.
Sott gives him a look.
Mhm. Can I help you, Doctor?
I'm good.
Very well. Have a drink. On me. You could do with a bit more color in those cheeks.
Gerkow just says no thanks and then walks off.
Once again, I'm good.
I have Latinum to earn.
Okay. Alright, alright, alright. And so, a little time passes. And, let me think. How have we responded overall to all of this? I'm going to take us back to Deck 1. So, a senior officers meeting eventually happens, and the conference room is used by all the senior officers to essentially get a small meeting about the stuff that needs to be done for the day, which is just routine. And overall, nothing much other than the mundane turns up. But, of course, Councillor Sachs does have to bring up the notice that she is receiving a lot more complaints from crew members, and it's been her observance as a Betazoid that there's a definite sense of resentment going amongst the crew at the moment. We need to know how to handle this going forwards, essentially, is what she says. Captain Sobek looks around the room. I have already received a rather troubling communication from Commander Tavish about a secretive meeting that was going on in the cargo bay amongst members of our crew, insisting that we are allowing Klingon members onto our ship to become members of the crew in order to facilitate some kind of spy situation, I suppose. I envisioned that there would be some difficulty in reintegrating our two peoples back together after such a prolonged conflict. I confess, I am uncertain as to how to proceed. Any recommendations from the rest of the command crew I would be more than happy to entertain. How do you think we should proceed?
So, if you don't mind me having a talk about this.
Commander?
In a small way, I can understand the frustration of our crew and the wider feelings of some of the Federation's towards the Klingons. Same goes with the Klingons towards the Federation. We have lost on either side. War is war. On our side, though, I honestly feel like there is. I feel like this is getting. The situation is getting out of hand quite quickly, and I don't think it's just like that sentiment. I don't feel like it's just that which is causing all of these problems. I think there may be a large group at
You believe there may be a group of officers who are willing to engage in a conspiracy against their fellow officers?
Yes.
You believe this is a credible threat?
I haven't got much evidence to prove that.
And yet you are still concerned?
Yes. Perfectly honest, I'm not. Perfectly honest with you, I just got a bad feeling about this in my gut. After seeing one of my ensigns look at me, and you saw the video I sent you, the gut feeling I had that this was just going to get worse and worse and worse. Well, I trust my gut feeling, sir.
Very well. Anyone else with any input? Sorry, go on.
Yeah, the authorities on both sides need to nip this in the bud, otherwise it will just keep bubbling over.
Any recommendations you have, Doctor?
Perhaps some kind of, perhaps first of all some sort of some kind of assembly, maybe just with the Federation on one side and the Klingons on the other, and then maybe they can be merged later. But this needs to be addressed now before it escalates.
Very good. Anyone else with any observations they would like to share? Very well.
To do with a distraction.
A distraction?
Some kind of healthy, friendly competition. Give them some way to vent in a safe and controlled way.
An interesting notion, Commander.
As for the kerfuffle I experienced this morning with the school, seeing as this has been provided by the Federation, there's absolutely no obligation if people don't want their kids sharing the space with others. They can keep their kids at home and teach them themselves. Bigotry hates inconvenience. That should quell all but the most zealous.
You believe it is a matter of bigotry?
I believe it's rooted there. They're looking for a vent.
I see.
And as soon as we make things inconvenient for them, they'll slowly come round. And once tempers and emotions are cooled, the rest will be made easier. Certainly with the civilians in the school. As for the Starfleet staff and officers, that's a bit more serious.
Indeed. I have unfortunately received a number of requests to resign. We are down about 5% of our total crew, and that's just within the last couple of days. If this resentment is as deep-seated as you all seem to believe, then it looks like we do definitely have a more serious problem one must take steps to address. I will take your concerns to to Admiral Hebert. But we started this as a very mixed crew, and I believe we will get through that. Yes, Commander.
After this conversation, may I have a private conversation with you?
Of course. If there are no other concerns to bring to this meeting.
Can I, just to double check, we are in the middle of the Dominion War now, aren't we?
The Dominion War hasn't officially started yet, no.
But we...
Go.
But we are aware of changelings.
You are aware of changelings, yes, and currently the problem with the Dominion is that the Cardassian Union has requested membership, and for the moment this is the problem that Deep Space Nine is having to endure, which is the constant throughput of Dominion ships and supplies going into the Cardassian Union. So that's the general thing that's going on elsewhere in the Federation at this moment in time.
Okay. Just a reminder then, is like to the captain that that one of the things we should reiterate is that there are bigger things at stake.
Indeed. A shared sense of urgency in regards to the potential threat of the Dominion. Maybe that will help. Thank you very much, everybody. Commander Tavish, remain for your private word. The rest of you may now go about your duty stations. I will check in with Admiral Hebert. I believe she was making hints at an incoming mission that we will probably be part of soon. Until then, to your various departments, please. Commander Tavish, she wanted a word.
Yes, sir. She waits until everybody is out of the room.
So, there we go. Door hiss.
Oh yeah. With your permission and the Admiral's permission, you heard me say to Ensign Kenson that I was willing to give them a hand with whatever they need.
If you are inferring what I think you are inferring, you are volunteering yourself to keep an eye on these people by continuing to be a member of their group.
Yes, sir.
Commander, you have a worrying predilection towards putting yourself in harm's way on a regular basis. However, with your rather unique augmentation, you do offer those of us trying to keep a general eye on potential, dare I say it, insurgencies with a distinct advantage. I will pass it by the Admiral and see if she puts her clearance on such an exercise. Commander, I want to reiterate, you yourself were rather concerned about the level of escalation they were prepared to go to.
Yes, sir.
I share that sense of, I do not want to say dread, because that would suggest that I actually feel it.
I do feel it, sir.
Let me say concern. If they believe that your insinuation into their group is not genuine, they may very well see you as a potential target also. This is my way of saying, be very careful, Commander.
Then, if I am going to do this and I get your approval from the Admiral, get your approval and the Admiral's approval with this, then I will have to say things which I do not necessarily believe to people I have respect for.
I understand.
Just know that that is not my feeling.
For the sake of maintaining this act, we will have to keep that between the two of us and the Admiral, so that the responses seem genuine. Very well,
I
Commander.
also would like my daughter and my cousin to be, at least if this gets approved, to be watched and looked after.
Protective
At least
detail.
from
I see.
not a visible protective detail.
I understand. Were this not the case, but it seems that these are the times we find ourselves living in.
Yes, sir.
Lily, from a personal standpoint, please be careful.
What is Captain Sobek's first name? by the way?
Sobek.
I will do.
Like
Sobek.
typical Vulcans, he only has one name.
Okay, I will do Sobek.
Okay. You may have to apologize to Commander Traza later on.
I have no problem with that, sir.
Okay, so before I fast forward this a little bit more, I am going to also move the camera as we fade in to one of the corridors of the combs where we find Dyneth walking down. As she walks down the corridor, a number of individuals, one of which we recognize as Lieutenant Osborne from earlier, flanked by two of his fellows, comes around the corner and approaches in the opposite direction from Dyneth. And they stop in front of her. Dyneth looks up from the pad she's holding and stops. Then she looks back behind her and notices that two more individuals have appeared from behind. Lieutenant Osborne slowly walks up to her, and Dyneth seems to come to some kind of understanding or resolve about what she thinks is about to happen. And so she puts the pad, she just lets it drop to the floor and just holds herself quietly, whilst Lieutenant Osborne walks up to her and says, "So, you're the Klingon tactical officer we've now got. The weapons specialist. What weapons did you give them exactly?" Dyneth looks Osborne up and down and says, "Nothing. I gave them nothing. They wanted much, but I gave them nothing. And for that, it cost me my name, my family, my house, and my honor." Osborne just looks at her, looks her up and down, and we cut away. And we find ourselves actually in the main auditorium of Narendra Station, the Galleria, where it seems a great gathering has been called for. So, if you remember, when you lived and worked on Narendra Station, usually the place that all the crews from the ships attached to the station assembled was in a large circular auditorium, and usually when there was a big mission about to happen, you would all be summoned. And so that's where we find ourselves, as you were all called here. Pardon me, not the Galleria. I'm looking at the auditorium itself. The Galleria is actually the equivalent of the promenade on Deep Space Nine. No, we're not going to the Galleria. We are going to the main auditorium. So here we have gathered the 3 Starfleet crews and the 2 Klingon crews attached to the station. So, just to remind us, obviously down here we have the Combs crew, and there is a very visible distance between Traza and Dyneth and the rest of the crew. You guys can sort yourselves out where you think your characters would be stood, sat, or next to, as you wish. To the left of the Combs crew, we have the crew of the USS Thunderchild, captained by the somewhat arrogant, but with good cause to be, Captain Hiroyuki. But if we remember, your Captain Sobek and the first officer of the USS Thunderchild, Commander Tonak here, have a bit of a... It's difficult to tell with Vulcans, but they have a bit of an aggravational relationship, it seems. They really don't seem to like one another. In between both the Thunderchild and the Combs crew is the civilian head of science here for the for Narendra Station, Dr. Helena Taliaferro, the rather irascible Beta Z. She is the one who's mostly in charge of the civilian wing of the science to do with all the ancient technology that you guys found during your first couple of sojourns around the Shackleton Expanse.
I've got a favourite with her.
Yes, you do. We also have Master Chief Petty Officer Tieni, who is essentially... Thunderchild is such a great name, we need to come up with some kick-ass names for our shuttles. Yeah. So, Master Chief Petty Officer Tieni is essentially the main dock master for Narendra Station. So when you first met her, she was very interested in looking over the Combs because it was a brand new ship. She hadn't seen one of those before. Lieutenant Commander Sardovelli is the Starfleet Federation security liaison attached to the station. Her Klingon counterpart is not currently here, probably watching over security. Now, obviously, in front we have Admiral April Hebert and her attaché, her assistant, Lieutenant Sharessa, and the head of the Klingon operations here. So both Admiral April Hebert and General Kargan here are co-heads of everything that happens here on Narendra Station. Up here, we find the crew of Captain Akul and his Mapui crew. Again, there's a big empty space between the Mapui crew and the crew of the USS Venture. Captain Roger Corbett, commanding officer of the Venture, that is the big Galaxy-class ship that is attached to Narendra Station. Corbett and his first officer, Rozek, are good people. Good people, good officers to know, good friendly people. But of course, one of the most recent additions to the crews stationed on Narendra Station itself is Captain Jevak and the crew of the Dokabach.
Whoop whoop.
So, here are your Klingon characters, as well as some of their... it's just a smattering of some of the extra crew they brought with them. Because the difference between Captain Akul's Kavort-class ship and Captain Jevak's Vorcha-class attack cruiser is, a measure of magnitude again. So, Captain Jevak does have the bigger crew because he does technically have the bigger ship. Whether or not, Connie, you believe that Captain Jevak holds that over Captain Akul much, if they have a friendly rivalry or if it's an actual professional rivalry, I leave that to you to decide. Not necessarily right now, but whether or not you think both Klingon crews have a friendly rivalry or an actual rivalry, I don't know. What do you think?
It'll be friendly. I think Captain Jevak consoles Captain Akul's like, it's not the size of your ship. It's how
you muse it.
How you command it, yeah.
Naturally, Captain Jevak has had to say goodbye to his former helm officer, as Lieutenant Junior Grade Madeleine Bonnet has been given as his new helm officer. So how well they've welcomed Bonnet remains up to the crew of the Dokabach. Technically, as a Lieutenant Junior Grade, that puts Bonnet at the level of what's called a Beck, which is like the lowest of the officers. So she probably gets treated like the other low officers, and so you you're given orders and expected to carry them out and give all due deference to your superiors. So, Bonnet's lip, as it were, that she likes to give out, may get her in trouble. We'll have to see.
Can the doctor ask Bonnet a question?
If you want to.
Bonnet, isn't it? You human girl, Bonnet.
Liz, you with us? Or are you just trying to decide how she responds?
Trying to figure out how she responds and trying to not laugh.
Okay.
What, Bonnet? How do you feel about a little bit of experimentation? Perfectly honest, I've got some experiments I've always wanted to do on a human.
See, would your experiments so happen to make you smarter?
Do it, says Dr. Sott. And the chief engineer, who may or may not sound a lot like Dr. Sott. Does.
I think
That's not a doctor over there. I don't know what he's talking about. And that goatee looks weird.
wow.
What do you- Look, it's going to be fine. Look, there won't be too many invasive experiments. I promise you.
Not too many means there will be some.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I also want to point out that cheap shot of my facial hair was definitely a violation of the ceasefire.
Oh, you want to doctor it off then?
Now, when you say experiments, would it make me as ugly as you?
Shots fired.
I am very beautiful in Klingon. I could make you stronger. I could probably make you faster. I could probably make you a bit smarter. You know, as smart as a Klingon. And as Klingons are very smart. Well, I am. I don't know about the rest of these Klingons. Most of them are stupid, but I'm very intelligent.
You may be intelligent via Klingon standards, but if your mother told you you're smarter than everyone, she lied to you.
Did you just disrespect my mother? Did you just disrespect my house? Don't worry, I'm gonna have a talk with the I'm gonna have a talk with the captain. After all of this, I will have a talk with the captain. Don't worry. You know, a little augmentation won't hurt you.
The captain thinks of the time when Commander Hopkins would keep Dr. Okita in
line, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, she's not here anymore.
You're gonna have to rely on Commander Voth to do that now.
Yeah, all the times.
Oh, sorry, Lethulol DOS, pardon me.
It's probably like, I miss Hopkins at least. They kept the doctor alive, even though it was probably a few scrapes and bruises on the doctor's part.
Dear
The
me.
doctor probably has a lot of bruises from the Raza.
That's fine, she's a doctor, she can deal with it.
Yeah.
Alright, moving on. After all that lovely, lovely banter, a chime goes off to alert everybody that presentation is about to be made, and Admiral Hebert and General Kargan essentially demand everybody's attention. And so, let me just see if this is not going to be too loud. Just change my voiceover to something. Testing. Okay, thank you for coming, everybody. We have just received news that a civilian science vessel, the SS Tesla, we have recently lost contact with and has disappeared on long-range sensors. Dr. Helena Taliaferro tells us that the Tesla's mission statement was to investigate unknown readings emanating from currently unexplored areas of the Expanse. The last known position of the Tesla puts them on course with the Orgoon system. And so we have elected to send a rescue mission in to retrieve the civilian scientists and to see whether or not the ship is in any state to be salvaged and brought back. Now, I am aware, as is General Cargan, that reintegration of our respective governments has not been easy. We've recently come off of a very intense conflict, but I think we can all agree that in light of recent developments, we need to go back to that one thing that made us a powerful force in both the Alpha and Beta quadrants, and that was our unity. The Klingon government and the Federation have not always agreed on everything. But one thing we all agree on is that there is plenty to explore in the Shackleton Expanse. Things that could increase our understanding of the universe, of the galaxy, of science. Maybe even give us a leg up on creating or discovering technology that could be of use to us, not just for science and medicine, maybe also in defense. And so it is with no small amount of keenness that General Cargan and I want to restart our exploration missions into the Shackleton Expanse with all the force and verve we had before. But with this rescue mission, we thought it paramount to make sure that not just a Federation Starfleet crew went out and rescued these scientists, but we make it a joint mission. Now, we are aware that we do have two very competent Klingon crews ready to join this rescue mission. But according to news I have just received from General Cargan, there has been a special request made by a Klingon house and volunteering one of its crews to undertake this joint rescue operation. General Cargan, if you please. General Cargan goes towards the console to the side of him and activates what seems to be, according to the chime, an affirmation which suggests that someone is now being allowed entry. And when that chime goes off, the main door opens and a small group of Klingons walks in. And when most of you see who's at the head of this troop of Klingons, you may very well have a response. Especially the Klingon crews, but also the Combs crew, especially Traza of the Combs crew. The lead Klingon is none other than Captain Darkran, son of Varoth. If you cast your minds back, House Varoth was General Varoth, leader of House Varoth, was that Klingon who just as the hostilities were declared between the Federation and the Klingons, he tried to capture the Combs whilst escorting it out of Klingon space. And ever since then, we've established that House Varoth and House Krell have always been at odds. And to our Klingon crew of the Dokabach, Captain Darkran has always been the insufferable Klingon captain that was always handing out your orders for the most part. Always accusing House Krell of trying to rise above their station.
Which is not wrong.
Well, yeah,
But it's
Especially in
insulting
light of
nonetheless.
recent events, yes.
yeah. Hopkins may or may not have attempted to use her favor with Chancellor Garon and 5 acclaim to up her house to Great House status.
Yeah, so that's still an ongoing petition. But it seems that the Combs crew, or maybe some of the Dokabach crew, might end up having to undertake a rescue mission with Captain Darkran.
Maybe we lose someone as we rescue someone else.
Captain Darkran enters into the auditorium space. Sorry, Chris, hold on to whatever you're going to say, don't lose it. And essentially bows towards Admiral Hebert. My crew and I stand ready to assist. So what were you going to say, Chris?
Oh, just off the back of what Connie said. Fair trade. We lose one, we find one.
As long as the cameras are off, nobody needs to know. Oh dear, I seem to have left my communicator badge off.
Oops.
And so, we come to it. There is now to be a joint rescue mission. Commander Darkran will be part of a Klingon contingent, and it seems that the Combs crew are going to be part of the Starfleet Federation contingent off to rescue these individuals. Yes, of course, Traza has some direct experience with Captain Darkran. The rest of you will probably have come across the name, especially because you are all inducted members of House Krell, but have spent the majority of that year actually doing very much nothing, having nothing much to do with the Klingon side of the family, I suppose, as it were. So I leave your reactions for you to decide.
Oh, the only other Klingon of the Combs crew is hearing Traza, and she speaks in Klingon, cursing their luck.
Okay. Apparently what's going to make matters worse is that Darkran is bringing his own ship, his own crew, so the Combs is going to be flying alongside this guy.
Tavish
Yes.
is
Character.
gonna look. Tavish is going to look not particularly pleased. So she's gonna walk over to where her Klingon crew, the Klingons part of the crew.
So these guys over here.
Yep. And she's gonna walk up to Traza, give her a look, and just go, how the hell am I supposed to trust that crew? What do you think your Klingon empire is doing?
So,
And
is Tavish
she
doing this
removed-
out loud?
Oh no, she's doing this. Yes, actually, yeah, she is doing this out loud. She just then grabs the insignia of House. Is it House Corel?
Well, correct.
Takes it off of her uniform and shoves it into Taraza's chest.
Oof.
You can have this back.
Oof.
And then she walks off.
So as a great murmuring goes on, not just from the Combs crew, but from everybody watching, essentially. The captain, Captain Sobek, of course, seems impassive. There's a look that's shared between Captain Sobek and Admiral Hebert, but everyone else seems to be wearing the same kind of look of shock, actually.
Traza will grab it. And not asking to be released, is gonna go to Captain Sobek, like, I need some time. And then proceeds to attempt to walk out of the auditorium.
Traza can walk out of the auditorium, but will have to pass Captain Darkran first, who deliberately seems to not move out of her way at first.
Oh, if he doesn't move, she's accidentally, in air quotations, bumps him with her shoulder as she walks past him.
Aha. Okay. There's a couple of mutters from the Klingon contingent next to him, but Darkran actually holds his hand up as if to silence them, and just stares at Traza as she leaves. But then the auditorium is then brought to silence as Admiral Hebert announces that the mission will start in at 0800 hours. So all crews have got about an hour with which to prepare themselves for the outgoing mission. And so we have this joint mission about to happen between the Klingons and the Starfleet crews. Will the Combs crew, with Captain Darkran on the other Klingon ship, be able to keep aside their differences long enough to find the SS Tesla and rescue the civilian scientists that disappeared along with her? We'll have to find out. But to do that, unfortunately, we're going to have to wait till next week.
Dun dun dun.
As I bring this session to a close. So thank you very much for attending, everybody.
You know what? I actually feel really bad for doing this. Do you know what to know? I hate being
antagonistic. Yeah.
Yeah, antagonistic towards other players. I did put myself in. It is my own fault.
And you did, at least you did it openly. You know, we didn't have the conversation between Sobek and Tavish behind closed doors, as it were. We did include everyone in it, so.
Yes.
The audience knows as well, so. As it were.
I'm not trying. Yeah.
So it's not as if we're doing a Tom Paris hates Chakotay kind of job where not even the audience is sure, but.
That's what gave me the idea for Tavish to do this.
I did wonder. So there we are. Never say this group isn't good at callbacks to the some of the original series is. But for the time being, I am going to say thank you very much to those who did watch. Thanks for popping by. For those who attended here, my players, thank you very much for being awesome as per usual. To say that I was kind of looking forward to this would be a vast understatement. If you guys are gonna, well, you guys have given me some very Klingon-centric stuff to do, and unfortunately this is your aftermath. But you've dealt with it well so far, so we'll see how well you continue dealing with it.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, the second Osborne blocked Traza, I was like, very much like, don't punch him, don't punch him, don't punch him.
That was a lot of restraints that was shown there, yes. I was very curious to see how you would do it. Sorry, go on, Connie.
I never noticed how so many of the crew were alcoholics.
Well.
Blood wine this, blood wine that, come on.
I like to point out Tavish is the only person who doesn't drink at all
Good point.
in higher
High doses.
Yeah, perfectly honest, the worst wrong is Commander. Is it Lieutenant Commander?
Yan Shan?
On yeah. she's
Yan
the
Zhang,
worst.
yes. Yes, she is the
Yeah.
lightweight.
Phlesc just uses it as a way to bond. It just so happens he likes bonding a lot, so he drinks a lot. It's purely coincidental.
Nice to know.
Can we get the? Can I also make a thing to the captain to get my other fellow officers into AA? To try and sort that out. Their blood wine. I mean, their
Poor
drinking
Captain
habits.
Sobek's got so much to deal with now. The crew are coming apart. Now he has to make sure they're all enrolled in drinking safely and appropriately.
And tries to fit. She spent a year on a Klingon ship where blood wine was a norm.
Yes. So there's certain accommodations to be made, but others. It's like they were waiting for the excuse to get back to Rendra Station so they could start drinking the heavy alcohol again.
Phlesc is
Oh, yeah,
going to get
like-
the wrong idea from the counselling session. Like, yep, no, there's definitely a problem with booze here. There's no Romulan ale. The blood wine is never available. We really need to sort out supply.
Can we also talk about our crew's fancy for gambling as well?
It's not
I think that's
gambling
real.
when you're winning. It's a pure win.
Though I do wonder what Captain Sobek said the first time Kaza came back to the Bridge of the Combs with a mug of blood wine.
There was an eyebrow raised, I don't doubt.
Don't touch me in the
Nevertheless.
morning before I've had my blood wine.
Okay, I'm serious.
Not one cup per second.
Sorry. Is our crew turning into? Is the Combs turning into the Doka?
Dokabach? Well, hopefully there's going to be some restraint on one side to blend too much of the other, but we'll see how we do. In the meantime, everybody still available next week, same time?
Yes.
I believe so.
Yes.
I would have said no because I was supposed to be on holiday next week, but I'm not anymore.
Okay, cool, good to know. Everybody is still here next week. In that case, I will thank my players as usual for being awesome, and thank everybody who tuned in. For those of you who are watching on YouTube later on, you know the drill. If you liked it, don't feel pressured. Then at least give us maybe a boost with the much maligned algorithm. And if the algorithm is listening, you know what you did. But in the meantime, I will ask everybody to do like the Vulcans do, which is to live long and prosper. And yes, be very concerned about your fellow crew members when they offer to take on bigots and to go undercover as bigots and take on racism and essentially the aftermath of any large-scale conflict. Look after each other rather than condemn each other. Engage also in infinite diversity and infinite combinations, because in the end it's our differences that drive us forwards, and understanding each other's differences that are important. And so I will say thank you once again to everybody that attended, and in the meantime keep yourselves safe, look after each other, treat each other with love and respect, because we need it in days like this, and we will see you again. Thank you very much, guys. Hailing frequencies now closed. If I can close it. I can't close it.